If you're watching this video and if you've clicked on this video, then I'm going to take it that you've probably missed this entire rally on Bitcoin, because we have literally made an all-time high. We have literally gone up from the exact bottom, like basically 50%. And most likely you have probably basically missed the entire bottom, and you now missed the rally, and now you're thinking to yourself, fuck, should I buy? I don't know what to do, right? Well, I'm here to help you out and actually make sure that this never happens again, and to basically take you from gambling scum to an investing Chad, right? And I'm going to do that by showing you my Nova algorithm. Now, this is a personal algorithm that I have designed myself, which is designed to perfectly buy market bottoms and sell market tops, right? It has basically had 100% accuracy. We haven't had one losing trade basically ever, right? It has had 100% accuracy across its entire time. Now, when I say we haven't had a losing trade, I basically mean we haven't had to exit all of our positions at a loss, right? Obviously, there will be points within this algorithm where you will feel where you will go into a slight loss, but if you let it play out, and if you trust the system within of itself, you will actually end up making money across the long term. And it's the number one most accurate investing system out there. And hell, just because most people will probably be saying, but you've just planted those signals, they're not real. I'm just going to show you my Discord, where I literally told everyone to buy at the exact bottom. As you can see, that was, when was that? I was around about the 10th of April, where I literally said, alright guys, this is basically the bottom. I basically gave everyone a fucking thesis. Trump's tariffs are simply pushing prices down to refinance. That is what we're seeing within the Fed's net balance sheets, meaning all dumps, once tariffs have resolved, price should / will recover. Taking a look at the bid or the ask depth, looks like we have most bids holding around this zone. We'll put limit orders below, and I literally gave everyone an entire thesis on why I believe this is the bottom, and the Nova algorithm basically told me to buy. And because of that, we are now up about, from current price, we're up around about 39%. Obviously, at the very, very top, we were basically at 50%. And overall, it has worked extremely well, right? And obviously, if you want access to this algorithm, link is in the description below. You can literally just purchase it, whack it on your charts, and I will basically give you exact details of when you should buy, what assets you should buy, type of market regime that we're in. But that's not the main point of this video. I basically want to go over on how you can basically build this for yourself, and basically how to never lose in the market again, because this is the one thing that most people struggle with. You've obviously heard the saying that you should always buy low, sell high, but that never happens to you, is it? You always buy high and you sell low, right? And I'm going to fix that for you. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So, first things, let me give an introduction to myself. My name is Dylan McMahon. I am a crypto investor who's been in the space for over 4 years now. I've made lots of money, and my goal in today's video is to show you how to stop losing money in the markets and actually win in this bull market, right? So without further ado, let's get into it. So I first want to start off by comparing us both, right? 1-to-1, man-to-man, right? Let's see where you're fucking up and where I'm not, right? So what am I doing that's different to you, right? Well, the first thing I'm doing is I invest via a real strategy and a real edge that takes guesswork out of the market, that allows me to print, right? And what I mean by this is my Nova algorithm is what's known as a very data-driven algorithm, which basically it's backed by real data that actually impacts markets, which tells me what the 99% do, because you've probably heard the statistic, 99% of all day traders fail. And because of this, it allows me to buy bottoms and sell tops, right? It is completely data-driven. None of this is emotion. I don't feel like buying when I want to buy, and I literally mean this. When it was down here, I didn't want to buy, because I thought it was going to go lower. But I bought, and what happened? Price pumped, right? Whilst you are different. You invest via emotion, and you're basically guessing your way through the market. You're basically just gambling on random fucking meme coins. You're like investing into Pepe, and you're basically buying up here. You're fucking selling down here, and you're very emotional. If your portfolio even goes down like 2%, you're there screaming, shouting like, well, oh no, it's gone down so much, I don't know what to do. Like, bro, calm down, right? My algorithm is completely data driven. You are very emotional driven. So you need to remember this. We'll come back to this in a minute, right? What else is different between us both? I have a solid network that basically gives me alpha on a daily basis. Now, if you don't know what alpha is basically another word for an unfair advantage. I'm not talking about a fucking alpha male here. Alpha, again, just gives me an unfair advantage. So what the 99% do, I'm basically doing the exact opposite of them, right? Which gives me an edge because I have data which is driven behind that, right? And obviously I have a network that tells me all that. Whilst you don't have a network, and what you think is alpha isn't. You're simply being used as exit liquidity. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is you're basically watching like these big crypto guys, like one's Thomas Crollo, what's another one? I can't remember his name. But anyway, you're watching a bunch of these like crypto influencers on Twitter and YouTube, and you think they're giving you these alpha insights of saying, oh, you should buy this coin, this coin, this coin. Whilst really, they're not giving you alpha, because what's happening is price has already done this, and they're telling you to buy here and say, look, it's gone up loads, you should buy it. But what's really happening is they're telling you to buy here, and because they're telling you to buy, they're actually selling here, because that's how financial markets work. Right? Financial markets are what's known as a zero-sum game. For you to win, someone must lose, right? It's like chess. In chess, for you to win, someone must lose, right? Same thing with markets, right? And you're simply being used as exit liquidity, which means you buy high, and they're selling on you, so they can make money, right? And finally, which is the same thing I've literally just explained, like, I don't listen to gurus and influencers who are paid behind closed doors to influence markets. Well, I mean, I sometimes do, just for a laugh. But you are literally having to watch them all day, every day, because you watch these KOLs basically dictate your decisions. Like, whatever, like, KSI is doing, like, if KSI is buying Bitcoin, you're thinking, oh, shit, I need to buy Bitcoin because KSI is doing it. It's like, bro, you're being used as exit liquidity here, right? These are the guys that you should be watching to know when to sell, not fucking buy, right? So we've basically compared each other, and I'm basically going to go over how I'm now going to take you from this to this, right? And again, if this is all boring you, and if you really just don't want to bother with any of this, again, my Nova algorithm is in the link in the description below. This is basically what you get. You basically get my current portfolio, how my algorithm works, the mindset you need to have behind crypto, and basically a bunch of knowledge that I've learned from cryptocurrency, which is unfiltered and completely accessible to you. Again, link is in the description if you want it. You gain access to this indicator on the chart, which basically tells you when to buy and sell. You gain access to my Discord, which I give you a thesis on why we're buying. I tell you the long-term drivers, etc., etc. Right? So, if that doesn't interest you, no worries. I'm just going to explain to you how to basically do this the hard way. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, first things first, you must learn what markets truly are. And here's the red pill. They are Ponzi schemes. No! Yeah, I know, crazy. Yes, they are Ponzi schemes. Now, for everyone who doesn't know what Ponzi scheme is, it's basically a type of fraud where basically you buy an asset, so price pumps. So if this is you buy here, price pumps. You tell your friend about it, he buys, price pumps. Now you make money because your friend has bought. Now he tells another friend, price pumps again. Now your friend makes money, you make double money. And he tells his friend to buy, he makes money, price pumps, now you make triple money. Now there comes to a point where price is high, so you think, okay, I want to sell. So now you sell, and because you were the first one to buy, price does this. Where you make profit, your friend makes profit, but these two guys don't really make profit. This guy probably breaks even, this guy fucking loses, right? That is a Ponzi scheme, and that is what crypto is as a whole, right? It is just the red pill, right? I either accept this fact or just don't do crypto altogether, right? Okay, so you've decided to accept the fact. Okay, right, let's get into how to actually succeed, right? So, how does crypto move within the Ponzi scheme of crypto? What are the two factors that mainly make it go up and down? Well, the main factors are what's known as long-term drivers, right? These are such things as FedNet policy, which basically controls interest rates, which means are people going in more debt or less debt. When people go in more debt, they feel more inclined to take on more risk, therefore they make a bit more money. Global liquidity index, which is basically the available liquidity which is available to flow into assets. And finally, you've got TradFi investing, which TradFi stands for traditional finance, which are basically these big companies which are now wanting to accumulate Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now, for the short-term drivers, there's really only one thing, which is known as fucking over the most amount of traders as possible. Now, you should know this, but it is a statistical fact that 99% of all day traders fail, right? This is a literal fact. You can literally Google it up for yourself, right? It is a hard truth that 99% of all day traders fail. And because of this is what moves price in the short term, because what happens is we have the long-term drivers, which is price does this, and you've got TradFi, global liquidity, and FedNet policy, which is basically saying, okay, price is going to do this. So price does this in the long term over like a 12-month basis, right? Now, when you zoom in to like here, this is what happens in the short term. Traders try to trade this. They try to make very quick little entries here and there. And what happens is they have a liquidation level, which is basically a level where if price comes here, they basically lose everything, right? Where what happens is, let's say market's doing this, so it's in a downtrend, right? And they're thinking, okay, market's going down, it's probably going to continue down. I'm going to go short. The liquidation level is here, and because it's there, price will want to do this. So now they're liquidating, and they're like, oh, fuck's sake, right? New deposit. Markets are now going to go down because that was just a retest, right? So they've got another liquidation here. Doesn't end up happening. Market ends up rallying, and they're like, oh, fuck's sake. Right, I'm going to go long now because the markets have to go up now. That ends up happening. Liquidation there. Price does this. What ends up happening is it creates these higher highs and higher lows, where liquidation here, liquidation here, liquidation here, liquidation here, liquidation here, liquidation there. And it makes these higher highs, which over a much more long-term view looks like that. Those are the fundamental drivers which actually move cryptocurrency's price, right? And this is the next point where I get into, which is known as data, right? So, as much as I've talked about all this, you have to understand, okay, well, that's all cool and all, but how do I actually find this stuff? Well, you have to find it via data, right? Which I'm going to go over now, right? So, what is data? Well, what data mainly shows us is what the short-term drivers are doing. So, bid and ask depth. So this is stuff like these guys buying, right? Which basically tells us, okay, price is probably doing this, and you've got basically got like these massive blocks here for buy orders, massive blocks here for sell orders. Price does this, price rejects, comes over to here, price rejects from here. Basically tells you where the big money is basically buying and selling, because big money moves price, right? That's a big bid and order ask depth. Now, liquidations is basically what I explained over here, which basically tells you when people are getting fucked over. So this will basically show you where people are getting the most fucked over, and the best place to look for that is you want to go over to the site called CoinGlass, and how it works, And this is honestly a system that you can just implement for free. I'm literally giving you it for free. But basically, all you have to do is look at this one over here. You can also look at funding rates, which I'll get into in a bit. Where basically, whenever this green / light blue like candle comes, you should basically buy, because it's basically telling you that 99% of all day traders are basically being fucked here, which means they've lost all their money. Whenever it's been fucked over here, price usually rebounds. Now, obviously, price did end up going down, but soon after it did actually pump up. It then went down a bit more. But then overall, if you would have just held for the long term, you would have been in profit, because you could have just bought here, and then you would have been up like 26%. Which, don't get me wrong, it's not fucking amazing, but you could have just made money via just doing that. And honestly, truthfully, it's actually worked really well throughout the long term. Like, you could have bought this down here, and then you could have just held, and you would have made like 120% just on that alone, which is 1.2x, right? So, very simple concept to understand, and you can literally just be doing that, right? And then, so you've got liquidations, and then next you've got funding rate, right? Which funding rate, oh, fuck, I'm on the wrong thing. Which funding rate basically tells you, it's an aggregation of what the 99% of retail is doing. So it basically tells you, are people going long or short? And whenever it flashes red, basically means people are going short, so you should long. And whenever it's flashing green, you should sell, because people are buying, right? Now, obviously, it doesn't work in the sense of whenever it's red, you should immediately buy, or whenever it's green, you should immediately sell. No, that's not how it works. But it basically gives you a nice, big, more longer-term view of a macro picture of what to do throughout the long term. Right, again, that's CoinGlass. You can go over to the site called coinglass.com/TV/Binance_BTC USDT. And that is just a very, very easy way to understand it. Now, what is fake data, right? Fake data is such things as random indicators which don't impact markets, influencers, etc. like that, right? And you can basically see that I've been doing this, which has allowed me to make money, whilst you have been doing this, which has not allowed you to make money. So which one would you rather do? Follow real data or follow fake data? I think you'd rather follow real data. Now, of course, you will have to kind of figure this all out for yourself, because, like I said, with funding rates, you can't just simply see when it's red and just buy, because that's just not how it works. You will have to try and figure that out for yourself, but I think you're getting the picture that you should be definitely being a data-driven investor versus a fake data investor. And finally, I believe this is... No. So, next we have Alpha Insights, right? Which alpha, again, just means a type of information that you're getting above everyone else, right? Now, let's go over what is not Alpha Insights. Well, not Alpha Insights are things such as YouTube videos. Now, I will admit, this YouTube video isn't really alpha, right? It's just me gatekeeping a lot, right? But I'm still helping you out a lot. Like, I'm giving you more alpha than most influencers will, right? Because most influencers will not tell you this shit. But as much as I'm gatekeeping a lot, I'm still giving you a bunch, right? So, YouTube videos are not Alpha Insights. Twitter posts are not Alpha Insights. Just random people just are not Alpha Insights, right? These are people which are the 99%, right? And you want to be doing the exact opposite of them, which, of course, you can view it from like a game theory standpoint of like, okay, so when these people basically telling me when to buy or when to sell, then I can just do the opposite of them, which, of course, you can view that from a game theory standpoint. But do you really want to do that? No, you can just get real Alpha Insights, which are known as paid groups, which are known as like Telegram paid groups, Discord paid groups, etc., etc. Now, this is something that you will have to pay for, regardless of where you are in the market. This shit is not free. There's a reason why it's not fucking free, because if it was free, then everyone would be fucking making money, and then the markets would just be an overly competitive playing field. So I just want to show you a real life example of an alpha insight that I got. So basically, around about the 24th of February this year, I got told about this coin called Abster, which was basically a meme coin on this new chain known as Abstract. And it was basically, this guy made a coin. Luca Netz, who was the founder of the chain, basically followed the founder of the coin. And there was this thesis going around of saying it's going to be the mascot of the chain. And what ended up happening was I ended up buying this coin back at 644k market cap, and I actually ended up making over 26x just on this coin alone. And as you can see from there to there, I made over 28x. Again, the literal proof is there. I'm literally giving you literal fucking proof. 24th of Feb, like, what was it? 25th, 24th there was literally when I bought. I'm not making this shit up, right? So, yeah. Where am I? Over here. Right? And that is just an example of real alpha insights. Because the truth is, you will never get anything like this on a free community. It just will not happen. What will end up happening is price will do this, and then you will be shilled to buy here and say, oh, it's going to go up so much more. Will it go up more? Maybe, maybe not. But within these paid groups, we tell you when to buy low at a really good risk to reward standpoint, which allows you to sell high at a later higher evaluation. Right? And yeah, so that's Alpha Insights. And finally, my last point is just to have a checklist. Right? This is one of the most simplest ways to just win in the market. Just have a fucking checklist. Right? So mine is a lot more in depth. Mine is fucking pages long. But this is just an example of what you can do. So, has Bitcoin /alts /meme coins gone down 30 to 60, between 30 to 60%? If so, buy. And tick that thing. Okay. Are the real drivers in the market in place? If they are, tick that. Has retail been fucked? Yes. And if all of these are checked, then it basically means you can buy. And what you'll end up finding is you'll basically build something that like I've built here, which allows you to buy low and sell high. Right? It's a very simple concept, very simple to understand. Right? And yeah, that's basically how you win in the market. So yeah, again guys, that's basically everything. And if you do exactly what I've just told you to do, you will literally go from the losing spectrum to the winning spectrum over here. So again, very simple guide of how to go from losing to winning. If you don't want to do all that, and if you literally just want a algorithm that tells you when to buy and sell, what assets to buy, because again, I haven't gone over like portfolio construction, which I go over in the Nova algorithm. So if you want that, then go and buy my algorithm. Link is in the description below. But yeah, that's it for now, guys. I'll see you all in the next video. See you all later.